Hello, Namco Museum fans, and welcome to special episode 5. And today I'll be talking about the documentary of Genpei Toma Den. It was an arcade game released only in Japan in 1986, and by the time 1996 came, it was put on Namco Museum Volume 4 on the PlayStation 1 under the name The Genji and the Heike Clans. I was a teenager when I played that game on PlayStation 3 because I bought it from the PlayStation Network store. What I learned is that the game is based off of a true person, a real person named Terunobu. He was a samurai warrior who served the Heike clan during the 12th century. He is well known for the failed attempt on assassinating Minamoto no Yoritomo, the head of the Genji clan, and that is real history. However, in 1986, Namco decided to come up with a game. In the arcade game Genpei Toma Den, Minamoto no Yoritomo conquered Japan with demons. That led to the results that the Heike clan was destroyed, which did not happen in the past. That was the main reason why Terunobu was brought back to life in order to get revenge on Minamoto no Yoritomo. There are 3 modes in the game: small mode, big mode, and over mode. The small mode, however, is the beginner mode, which means you play Terunobu in small form, as he has to make it pass through a horde of demons. However, this game is not going to be easy because there are obstacles, such as pits, floating rocks, and bouncing floating rocks. You have a health meter that are candles, and there's a money system in the game so you can buy items. And you also see sword points on the screen. The higher the sword points, the more powerful the sword is. However, it'll deplete when you swing it on hard objects like floating rocks or stronger enemies. To increase sword points, you have to collect purple orbs or collect sword symbols, but it will cost you money. Big mode is where boss fights happens. In big mode, you'll be able to encounter bosses like Minamoto no Yoshitsune and Benkei, his bodyguard. Yoshitsune has 2 attacks, like throwing knives at you or uses sword attacks. Sometimes he paws and laugh at you and then proceed for the kill. Benkei can throw weapons at you, such as spiked balls, which is part of a mace from England. However, in later stages, he'll carry a staff with a spiked ball attached to it, and he'll try to use it against you. Over mode is where you had to make your choice to which area you want to go. To move on to the next stage, you had to pass a torii, which are Japanese gateways. However, there's going to be more tories in small mode and over mode. Here's the tip you need to know about this game. In order to defeat Minamoto no Yoritomo, you need to collect 3 sacred items: the jewel, the mirror, and the sword. The jewel protects you from poison. The mirror protects you from lightning. And the sword was super strong, so you can't break it. Once you have all 3 sacred items, you're ready to fight Yoritomo. The Yoritomo boss fight, which is the final boss, was a short one too. If you have more sword points, you'll be able to inflict damage on him. However, before he dies, he said his final words, which I cannot pronounce in Japanese, but according to Strategy Wiki it says, "My soul shall never perish." Genpei Toma Den was ported on the PlayStation 1 in 1996 on Namco Museum Volume 4 under the name Genji and the Heike Clans, but with English translations. The voiceovers are in Japanese, but the texts are in English. Arcade Archives was lucky enough to have Genpei Toma Den released in 2021 on PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and other game systems. However, the texts are not translated because it's an original game. I wish Bandai Namco released a 3D remake of this game, but with 2D characters as their anime and backgrounds are in 3D, like the floating rocks, and the text is in English. In 1988, Famicom, which is a Japanese version of NES, released a Genpei Toma Den RPG game called Genpei Toma Den Computer Board Game. Never played that game because I am not good with RPG games. It's like you have to make a choice of what to do and that kind of stuff. Some people may say it's a sequel. However, the real sequel is the 1982 hack-and-slash video game Samurai Ghosts, which was released on the PC Engine in Japan and TurboGrafx 16 in North America. This game takes place after Genpei Toma Den. However, Yoritomo is about to make his return, and he's began his resurrection, and Kagekyo is on the mission to stop him from being revived. To do that, he has to go to the Yukai world. This game focuses on big mode only. There are various power-ups in the game, rather than just one in Genpei Toma Den where you collect the scroll and you have the ability to fire a wave of energy at enemies, or in big mode, when you collect the scroll, you can spin your sword around and take care of other enemies while you charge at them. Samurai Ghost has other power-ups, but there are more soon to add, such as the spinning attack and the flaming sword. There are no sword points in the game, which means you don't have to worry about damaging your sword. There are new boss fights in the game. Boss fights like Ami-Hime and Kiso no Yoshinaka. The old bosses return in this game. Honestly, I never got that far in the game myself. I only saw the gameplay on YouTube. The final boss is way different from Genpei Toma Den. Yoritomo has free forms, such as the Emperor form, Samurai form, and also the Ghost form. And trust me, it is hard. The PlayStation 1 game Namco Museum Volume 4 is the main reason why I found the series of Genpei Toma Den. Genpei Toma Den was a success in Japan in 1986. Not even the people in the United States has ever heard that game until a decade later. I never heard that game myself when I was a kid. I found out about that game when I was older. There's a mini-movie of this game once. You can find that video on YouTube. Just type down Genpei Toma Den mini-movie. The reason why I can't show you the video is because I don't have permission. That's concluded for the Genpei Toma Den series. And you can play this game on arcade archives. In order to win the game, try and look it up YouTube and find a way to beat the game. That's what I usually do. In 2 weeks, I'll be talking about the Bosconian series. See you in 2 weeks.